Are you over 40? Are you really ready to start a YouTube channel, but you're still kind of stuck on what to make the channel about? Maybe you've got a ton of hobbies, ton of experience. I'm sure you do. And you just need some ideas. So in this video, I'm going to share 9 ideas for your YouTube channel, especially if you're over 40. And I'm going to give some examples as well, just to kind of get the brain going. Hey there, Kevin Colby here, and this channel is all about helping people over 40 do video. Specifically in this video, I want to share 9 ideas that you might think about for your channel. Now, I wouldn't do all of these, and I wouldn't start multiple channels. I see a lot of people ask that. I've got a lot of passions. Should I do a lot of channels? No. Start with one and really learn YouTube as much as anybody can. So, idea number 1, personal finance. This is based on the fact that you're over 40 and you've got some experience in that. So maybe you're a financial planner. Maybe you have a background in finances. Maybe you're an accountant. So for example, you could talk about retirement planning. You know, for a long time, my wife and I planned for retirement, and we started that a long time ago, and people gave us advice and stuff like that. But there are still folks out there that need it in their 40s and 50s. So think about that. Investing for retirement after 40, maybe a beginner's guide. So maybe this could even be before you're 40 or things like that. Things that you have done, things that you know of, investment news, investment tips that you could share as well. Another one would be leveraging YouTube for side income. I see a lot of folks say, you know, I want to do YouTube. I don't care about making money, and that's fine. You know, I do enjoy making money because it helps me support my family, and there's a lot of different ways I make money on and off YouTube. But let's say that you've got some experience and you've experienced some of that, and you have some side income coming in because of YouTube. Well, that could be part of something under personal finance too. Number 2 is career advice. We could go on and on about this because I think there's a lot of us that are over 40 that probably have faced layoffs or job loss. You know, I know when I was 57, my position was eliminated. I'd been a creative director at a TV station for a long time. I actually had been with this company, this television company, for about 24 years. At some point, I need to talk more about that and offer advice of what to do to prepare for that. Not always the doom and gloom, but just think about that. So part of that could be maybe an idea, career reinvention after 40. I had a friend of mine say to me once, and I've always thought this was kind of cool. She said, one of the things I admire about you, Kevin, is that you know how to reinvent yourself. And I've done that over time. I mean, I had no idea. Am I a YouTuber? I don't know. Let's change the face of what a YouTuber is. Who's with me? But you know, I had never thought about doing YouTube as my quote job and career, and that's pretty much what I do now. So maybe an idea for you if you want to go into career advice is career reinvention after 40. And again, with any of these, sharing personal stories is huge, and even experience, as long as you have that experience. Another one is work-life balance after 40. There's a good chance some of us have kids. You know, I have 3 kids, 2 are grown. We still have 1 at home, and our youngest has special needs. So that brings in a whole nother world of work-life balance. And I'm a huge proponent. That's when you're 4, right? A huge proponent of that balance. So think about that. Now, again, it may not be an entire channel about work-life, but this falls under career advice. All right, number 3, health and fitness. If we're honest with ourselves, probably at any age, not just over 40, we ought to be concerned with our health and trying to stay fit. I know I haven't been as much as I should be, even though like a year ago we decided to get a treadmill. So I try and do a treadmill every morning, like 30 minutes, listen to a podcast. So at least I'm trying to do that. But again, I think this is a great channel idea, especially if you're over 40. So think about it. You could do fitness after 40, like, you know, how to build strength and stamina. I know what it is. I can't say it. Think about that. Maybe you're a fitness coach. Maybe you have a background in health and wellness. Maybe you do yoga or so many other things, but it could be targeted to more older viewers, if you will. Not necessarily older YouTubers, but older viewers. Or maybe nutrition for us older people, because, you know, our diets change and things like that. Number 4, hobbies and passions. Do not underestimate the fact that whatever you have a hobby for, whatever you are passionate about, there is an audience for. I have seen channels built around the smallest possible thing you could ever imagine. I actually saw one. It was about escalators. Escalators, by the way, if you're into that, I'm not trying to be mean, but I mean, escalators. This could be a great channel idea. And this might work for you if you're over 40 and you're interested in a lot of different things, but maybe they're packaged under your hobby. So like, for example, learning a new skill over 40. So you can actually document the new skills you're learning. I mean, I see a lot of these channels, you know, I tried blank for 30 days. I tried X for 7 weeks or whatever it is. You could try that. Travel and adventure after 40. I've actually had some coaching clients that are travelers, and some of them are married. And think about that. Travel for older adults might be different. Again, if you want to like target the younger, there's nothing wrong with that as well. But, you know, things like you need to know from traveling, whether it's around your country or your state, and especially in the United States, you could even get that geo-focused with it, or even around the world. Or even like creating a home you love. Like, let's say you're an interior decorator. Maybe you're not even a degree in it, but you love to do it, or you're a minimalist. I actually love minimalist channels. I'm not one myself, but I like it. Number 5, creator news. This is kind of a new phrase. Maybe it's a buzzword, but it really just means you have a channel where you share news and information or even entertainment. Because this came out recently from Pew Research. About 1 in 5 Americans say they regularly get news from influencers on social media. Think about that. I think the stat broke down to like 21%, that they would rather get their news from social media than traditional news outlets. And news influencers are most likely found on X and Instagram, but check this out, 44% on YouTube. I come from a traditional media background. I spent a long time working in television stations that all had news organizations. But I'm just telling you, from cable on down to network, news is not what it used to be. And in fact, personally, I don't even think journalism is as good as it used to be. It just seems to be more regurgitating rather than looking into things. But that's enough about that. If you have an interest in things like this could be a huge way to do it. How would you do it? Well, you could do a daily news digest. Now, daily news can be tough. A daily video can be tough, but there are ways around this. But you could do recaps of news events. I have a friend that for the longest time, his focus on his channel was the creator economy. Did really good at it. And at some point, he decided to pivot. Now, this is a huge pivot. And now he does strictly political commentary. And I'm telling you, his channel has absolutely blown up. Check out the channel Professor Nez, and you'll see exactly what I mean. Under creator news, you could also look at historical news, things that have happened in history. So let's say you like news, but you're kind of a history buff. You could do that as well. And I think there's an opportunity here to hyper focus it down to even local. So you could actually do local news, state-wise or a community. And you may say, yeah, but it's YouTube, it's World Wide Web. Yeah, but you can focus down and find the audience there under creator news. Number 6, tech and gadgets. Just because tech is cool doesn't mean only the young people get tech. And I get so tired of seeing things that older people don't understand tech. You know, my mother-in-law, when she was alive, was a gamer. I mean, she was a gamer and she could kick anybody's butt, especially on the Wii. And that was when she was in her 60s. So yeah, this whole age thing and tech thing I just don't buy it. But you could do tech reviews for seniors. So maybe you're really into the tech and gear space, but you really kind of want to break it down to, you know, more user-friendly or even gear that might be more compatible with older adults. Online security tips. I think this would be huge. Online security tips, especially if you have a background in, say, cybersecurity and things like that, because it's constantly changing. You know, it's so easy now to get scammed and things like that. So tech and gadgets, that I think could be a really good thing to lean into for a channel this year. Number 7, health and wellness. Now, this might be a little bit like the other one, health and fitness, but I think, again, if you look at the health and wellness part of it, and maybe you combine the two, that's okay. But think about this, senior fitness routines. So what are things that maybe you're already doing? Maybe this is your job, or maybe it's your hobby, and you've already got a routine that you do as a senior, whatever that is anymore, but over 40, that you could teach others. Heck, some of these things could actually lead to online courses and books and things like that as well. Also, healthy aging tips, like advice on nutrition and sleep and exercise and workout and travel and all these other things. So imagine doing a channel that you're passionate about, that's all about health and wellness, especially for people over 40. Number 8, personal development. I've said before that, and this is not to throw shade on young people, but if I'm looking to listen to a life coach, I'm not going to hire somebody who's 21. Not that they haven't had some experience up to that point, but they have not had the experience that a 40-year-old, 50-year-old, 60, 70, 80-year-old would have. It's totally different. So think about that under personal development. A life coach, what could that mean? You could actually share your personal experiences of anything from relationships to jobs, to dealing with stress, to dealing with the loss of a loved one or a child, God forbid, or anything like that. But that's one idea. Another one is financial literacy. Again, think about personal development, personal savings, personal checking, personal things like budgeting and saving and investing tips. Now, I realize some of this you may have to have deeper knowledge, and I have coached some folks in the financial investing niche before, and there's a lot of guidelines they have to follow. So this is not meant for any legal advice, but if you have that background, that might be something to really, really consider for a channel idea. Number 9, vintage and nostalgia. I think there's something to be said about this, especially if you're into like retro stuff. Look, music. I love music across the board, almost any kind of style, But sometimes I'm into 70s, sometimes I'm into 80s, and a little to the 90s, and not that much. But think about that. Think about going further back to like retro reviews, looking at popular culture things from older times that maybe we've lived through, we've experienced. I mean, I love those. There's a site called BuzzFeed, and they'll say, you must be this old if you remember these things. And I'll remember that. And I was just talking to my dad the other day about these older restaurants that we used to go to when I was a kid. And we just started kind of being nostalgic about that. Vintage fashion and style. Now, I got nothing to say about this because I dress I dress the way I do. But think about that. I've heard the phrase that everything always comes back into style. But again, if you are into fashion and style, especially vintage, that could be kind of cool. Or DIY restoration. This is even more than just being able to do it, but being able to restore older things, or even just shopping for older things and finding those bargains and things like that. I think any one of these would make a great channel for you this year, especially if you're over 40. Now, are there other ideas out there? Absolutely. Maybe I haven't thought of them. You could even combine some of these as well, but the goal is just pick something and start creating. That's the best way to get over the fear and just get yourself out there on the World Wide Web and start impacting people. Remember, the best thing to do is just start creating. I hope this helped. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.